Hello, I'm David. So now I'm going to do a review of Jurassic World Dominion's Stomp and Smash game. And it's for ages 5 and up, 2 to 4 players. And it does say it's by Spin Master, and it uses Kinetic Sand. I don't know if Spin Master if that's part of their company or not. But I acquired this as part of the Target's buy 2, get 1 free. Now you saw on the opening screen there, cash grab. So I'm going to explain why I'm using that term in a moment. But first, let's go over what you're going to do in the game, how it plays. All right, so you set up the board like this, and you'll see that you have a T-Rex that goes on the stand. You'll make this little diorama here. It's just for decoration purposes. It just goes off to the side. It has no effect on the gameplay. And you'll see that your game will come with Kinetic Sand and a baggie. Now, I'm in the desert, and so it seems to be staying moist still. I did not put this in a baggie over the last, 4 days. So it seems like I don't know how long this would hold up over time if you don't have it in a baggie. You know how Play-Doh will dry out after a while. So the object of the game is to get 5 of these tokens. And you do that by playing cards that I'll go over here in a moment that you will use to move around the board. And when you have 2 clones, now this looks like it ties into the movie here, Blue, and I think Beta is the child. If you have at least 2 clones in your home area, you get a token when you return. Now, one thing the rules does not explain very well is that you have to pass this start space. So you're going to start here, and it doesn't say you go clockwise, but you assume you do. So you'll come out of here, and you'll go around the board, and you come all the way back around, and it says when you reach this space, which implies that you land on it or go past it. If you have at least 2 clones, and I'm going to go over the Kinetic Sand here in a moment. If you have at least 2 clones here, you'll get a token. And one thing, there's a discrepancy in the rules, and I'll show you here on this other camera here. So it says the object here is to get 5 tokens. Okay, yeah, pretty simple, right? But then it says on the very end here, when it repeats that rule, nothing wrong with repeating rules, but it repeats it and has a contradiction. It says that you have to collect 5 Jurassic tokens and have at least 1 sand dinosaur in your territory or a clone. So, why would you be concerned about keeping your clones? Well, because there's cards where now this is where I could see some kids liking this. They're going to take the T-Rex and squash out the clone with the T-Rex that you'll put in the home area. So before I go over the cards, so I will do a little bit of the gameplay. I'll start here, and Julie would start here. So this is the part that maybe I'm just too old to do this well. Okay, maybe it has to be, but it makes me wonder, will a 5-year-old be able to do this? Now, you could, let me go to the other camera here. I'm thinking you load it in like this, right? You squish it in, and it makes a little bit of a mess though. Okay, so I'm getting it out. And I'm going to try a little bit of a technique this time. This, before I kind of made it like cookies, where you don't want any of the edges around. But I'm going to make it a little bit more lumpier because it's not very sturdy. So you'll see here, see how I kind of overlapped it, right? It's not smooth. So now I'm going to try to push it out. Okay, see if I can do that here. All right, so it's a little bit easier when you don't try to make it like a cookie and you have it overlapping here, because what happens is that neck will come off. All right, but see how it's falling apart already? See, look at that. So this is one of the frustrating things in the review. I could not get it, and this sand seems to be drying out a little bit. So what I'm going to do, you're supposed to start out with 1 in your home area, okay? It's not even holding together. It's pretty bad. I'm going to make little balls, okay? Kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it? I'll have 1 ball, and Julie will start off with another ball. Okay. All right, so here's our clones. Wow, how thematic, huh? And you can have up to 3 clones in your spot. If you get a 4th clone, you will lose your turn. And you'll see there's cards that will do that. So, and the reason why, the game is just basically limiting how many clones you get, because you're going to get squashed as the game plays. Okay, so let me get a couple balls ready, more balls ready here, as I show you how the game plays. I'll put it right here. Yeah, see, I don't remember it being this dry. And again, I'm in a dry climate, so it makes you wonder, does this stuff last forever? And that's one reason why I'm saying it's a cash grab, because is it really about the movie Jurassic Dominion, or is it a way to sell Kinetic Sand? And to tie it into the movie just to try to get you to buy it. That's why I bought it. I bought it for you. Again, this is not a comp copy. When Julie and I get games, usually we pay for it with our own money. And this time, yes, that was the case. Now, when you go on Target, you're going to see a whole bunch of positive reviews, and it will say, what I give Target credit for, that the reviewer, it says if they got a comp copy. So you're going to see a lot of the reviews on there are positive, and they got a free copy. Well, this review, I did not get a free copy, this reviewer. All right, so here's our clones standing by, my little clone balls. Now let's go over the cards real quick. So when you draw, it's very simple. You draw a card and do what the card says. You don't hold cards in your hand. There's no decision making. You basically draw a card and do what it says. Now there is some decision making when you're playing with more than 2 players. So back up real quick. You move 2, 3, 4, or 5 spaces. If you land here, for instance, here you'll slide down. If you land here, you'll get a token. Remember, you need 5 to win. Here, I believe, is the cloning spot. Yeah, clone crate 1 dinosaur. So if I landed there, I just get another dinosaur. Remember, though, if I already had 3 and I land there, I lose my turn. Okay, so nothing happens. This is the blues start space. So there's not much differentiation here other than the slides, free clone, and get a token. Now, if you land on a space where there's already someone there, so if I landed here, I would actually move on to the next space, and that would be a good thing because I'd get a token. All right, so let's go to the cards. Move 2, 3, 4, or 5 spaces. Now the T-Rex, and this is where I can see some kids having a good time with this game. If I draw this card, I get to squash one opponent's clone. Now, in a 2-player game, there's no choice. I'm going to squash Julie's clone. And I go like that. Whee! Okay, I squash it, and it's out. Okay? So some kids are going to enjoy that. And I get a token for doing that. Now this card here, I squash somebody's clone, but that player gets a token. Okay, so it's kind of like a little reward. Well, it's something bad happens and then something good. Here you get a clone, but not if you already have 3. Now this means mass clone. Everybody gets to add a clone, but again, you can't go over 3. Stampede. So all players return to their start space. And why is that a good thing? Because when you return to your start space, so when you go around the board and you pass it or land on it, if you have at least 2 clones, you get a token. Okay. Now the rules doesn't specify that they go away. You just need to have a pair of clones. I assume that doesn't go away because that's the whole point of the T-Rex squishing them. So let's do a little bit of gameplay here. I'll shuffle up the cards. All right. Show you a little bit of gameplay, and then I will give the review. Now these cards, I'll just show you real quick the quality. They're not very sturdy card stock. It's very low quality card stock. Okay. So if you have young kids shuffling these, they're probably not going to last very long, just because of the way they're made. Okay. All right. So let's say I go first. All right. I am here. I draw the card. Hey, I move 5. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I slide down. All right. Okay, so Julie drew the T-Rex. She goes one space, which I forgot to mention, that you also get to go one space when it comes up, and she squishes my clone. Okay, and I'm out of clones. And she gets a token, so she's ahead by 1 point right now. Okay, I go. I get to squish her clone. Okay, and I go one space. I got a token for squishing her clone and a token for going one space, so I'm up 2-1. All right, Julie goes. There's nothing to squish, but she still gets a token. The rules don't specify that you have to squish somebody, but she goes one space and she slides down. Whee! Okay, she goes there. And now I go 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I get to clone somebody. Okay, here's my clone. Julie goes. That's because I landed in that space. She goes 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I go 1, 2, 3, 4. I get a token. Okay, see how quick this... first time I played this, I was able to win in 9 cards. Okay, Julie goes 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I go 1, 2, 3. I get another clone. All right, so if I get back home, I have a para. Okay, Stampede. Everybody goes back home. Oops. Everybody goes back home. Because I have a para, I get another token. I only need 1 more to win. Oh, return to start space. Yeah. Okay. Now, was that my card? I don't remember. Here goes Julie. Okay, 1, 2. She gets. You can see how this can get knocked down a lot. So what you can do, you just move it off to the side here and put it right there. Okay, I go 2, 1, 2. Julie goes 1, 2, 3, 4. I go, okay, so squish it, go one space. I won. And how many cards did that take? Seven cards this time, so a new record. I was able to win in 7 moves. Now, would it take long with more players? Probably. And then you reshuffle the deck when it runs out. Okay, so that was how to play and play through real quick. Not a very long game. So let's take a look at my review. Now, I give my reasons, positive, negatives, and neutrals. And then I give a rating based on the Board Game Geek scale from 1 to 10. So let's take a look. All right, so the weak gameplay with very little decision making or strategy. You saw that. The only decision making I would have is, do I squish whose clone do I squish? But in a 2-player game, it's obvious. I'm always going to squish the other player's clone. So there are better children's games that have some decision making. All right, now it's 5 and up, right? But they could have made this have a little bit more decision making in it. Minor educational merit, other than counting by 2s, 3s, 4s, or 5s. Counting these chips, there's not much going on here. Okay, in terms of educational merit, I would not recommend this game to teach basic math skills. Yes, is there some of that in here? Yes, but not enough to you should buy this to help your kid learn math. I would never use this in the classroom. Average component quality. I showed you the cards. I mean, it's hollow. I'm sure if a kid bangs it hard enough, it would crack open. This right here, it's plastic molding. The chips, for basically a $20 game, you get what you pay for. Now, this is already warping here. But again, I'm going to dry climb it, so this is never going to go back down here unless I squish it, put something heavy on it. So you get what you pay for in this price point of a game. All right. So frustrating molds. You saw me try to mold it. It doesn't work well. The kinetic sand is messy. The rulebook needs more clarity. You saw there's a contradiction in whether or not how you go around the board. I mean, it's kind of lazy. All right. There's no reason why this game could have went through some more iterations with people playing it and giving feedback. They probably rushed it out. And in fact, you'll see my other component comment here, it's not really tied into the movie or the IP that much. That's why I say it's a cash grab. So where's the fun? Squishing clones, I guess. Otherwise, it's just pretty much a race game. Now, look, you would play Candyland with a 3 or 4-year-old, but a 5-year-old, I could say a 5-year-old having fun squishing, but then a 5-year-old would get upset and frustrated by making the molds. So I don't want to play a game with a child who's going to get upset that they can't make the molds work. So then it's not fun, right? So again, another reason why I don't recommend this. I could see them having fun squishing things, but if they can't squish some, well, you get my point. It's frustrating. And then it does not respect the IP. It doesn't have any of the human characters in here. I mean, it's almost as if they got access to the script, to only a portion of the script, but weren't given everything because maybe it was kept under wraps, or they weren't allowed to use the human, the actors. I mean, it's weird because usually when you pay for a license, you have access to everybody in the movie. But maybe it was a limited license where they could only do the CGI animals. So, again, I don't know why it doesn't tie in more. Now look, it has a plane from the movie and some other scenes it looks like, but and some of the dinosaurs. But why did it include the human characters? Makes you wonder. All right, so what is my rating? Well, my rating is it's very bad. Won't ever play again, and it's because it's a cash grab. Maybe if it had more decision-making and educational merit, yeah, I could see playing this. But the molds take away too much of the fun. So the whole idea is you're probably going to see this discounted. I can see this getting down to $5 at some point. You'll see it on the discount shelf. Maybe it's worth $5 if you just want to play it once or twice with your child, but I can't see this a game that you're going to be like coming off the shelf that often. There's a reason why I still own Candyland and Hi-Ho Cheerio and other classic children's games, because I know I will be using those for future grandchildren. I'm going to return this, to tell you the truth. This is bad. It's not worth owning, and I wouldn't even buy it for $5 because even the pieces that come with it, you could be like, oh, this would be fun to play with. No, the molds are horrible. So that's my review. Please check out our other videos. And please don't forget to subscribe and like. I appreciate you watching. Bye-bye.